So there's nothing more frustrating after you've smoked a drive down the middle of the fairway, left yourself with a nice approach into the green, feeling good, ready to hunt down the flag, and then from there you pull the shot, we swing out in, ball goes long and left, miss the green, bogey, double bogey. Not a nice feeling after such a good drive. In today's video, I'm going to be showing what the pulled shot is, some key reasons why a player might do it, and some wonderful ideas and drills to help you get that fixed almost immediately. So let's dive right in. Firstly, what is the pulled shot? Well, that's when, relative to your target line here, shown by the yellow balls, is when, relative to that, the club into impact is swinging out to in, or to the left for the right-handed player, relative to the target. With the club face, it is matching the path, pointing the same direction that the club is swinging. Similar to that shot there, you can see the club path was swinging 5 degrees from out in, with the club face pretty much matching where the path was. So yes, the club face is the most important when it comes to direction, typically around 75 to 85% influence on where the ball starts. So that is a very important aspect, but if you're pulling it, you're typically going to have the club face, if it's a straight pull, square to your path. So we're going to look at a couple of key factors first. We've got, firstly, alignment. Let's check your alignment, because how do we know we're pulling it if we're not aiming correctly relative to our aim? And then we're going to check your club path. So firstly, alignment, key factor. A lot of amateurs that I'll play with will struggle with alignment. It's not easy, it needs training, it's tough. Golf's a sport where the target's to the side of us, and so oftentimes when a player's practicing, they'll have a few practice swings next to the ball and then walk straight into the shot, and oftentimes placing their feet first. So here we've got the aid of balls, but on the course you don't have that. Very difficult to aim something out there as we're just walking in from the side. So we might see an aim that's too far for the left. I mean, that would be an easy fix if someone's swinging, aiming left and then swinging relative to that and pulling the ball to the left. That's not actually a pull, they're just hitting a straight shot, but they're aiming to the left. Now that would be a simple fix, and we can do some alignment and routine work for the pre-shot routine there. Oftentimes, however, I would see a player as they're walking in, aim their feet first, and oftentimes it will be too far to the right for a right-handed player, and then when they look to check where the target is, we'll see this action where the whole body comes up and the body starts to turn, and then we start to see some adjustments. Now all of a sudden we've got this alignment that's very much to the right of the target, and then a player might then from there actually make some swings and pull it back onto the target. So they're aiming right, but they're pulling it back onto the target. So yes, it's a pull relative to their aim, but over time, is that something that's then causing them to swing out in with their path relative to their aim? Then a playing partner might say, hey Bob, you're aiming to the right, let's check your aim. So then the player might start to aim better, the friend might adjust them, but because they've been so used to pulling the ball on line, now you might see a good aim, you think, oh fantastic, but then we swing and we pull left, because we've created this environment where we're used to aiming right and swinging to get the ball starting on line. So you can see how if alignment gets off, we can start to make these adjustments that might not be conducive to good consistent golf moving forward. So what I would encourage is a alignment routine is, as we're walking in now, I've got here the yellow balls just for alignment here. Now as we walk in, we can be picking our target in the distance, drawing it back all the way to the golf ball. And this first ball might be a bit of brown grass, it might be a leaf, it might be an old tee, just something that you could pick out a few feet in front of you. And as I'm walking into the shot here, I'm looking at that. I've picked my target out there, I know that that's now my intermediate target as I'm walking in. I'm now aiming my club face first, not my feet, my club face first, relative to that target. Now I know I'm aimed good relative to my actual target. From there I build my stance around this imaginary line. So now I know I'm set up pretty good, and I'm set up pretty good here. Then I would encourage a player to look at the target just by turning their neck, not by lifting the whole body. And we start to get a good perception of where we're going. So that's what I would encourage for players to check their alignment, and then from there it's going to be much easier to to assess whether or not it's a club path issue or club face issue from there, because we've got good alignments. So guys, let's assume that you've now got the alignments fixed, you've got a good routine, we're happy with that. Then I would look at your club path. So if your alignment's good and we're still pulling it to the left from here, we're still getting that club path moving left, then we need to fix that. So two key concepts to discuss. When it comes to the club from the top of the swing, oftentimes I'll see players trying to get their hands and the butt of the club and basically just getting that shortest route possible from the top of the swing to the golf ball. So these hands start to make a beeline for the ball, and we start to get the hands working too out. So the hand path starts working very much out this way towards the golf ball. Of course, from there, what's going to happen? The club's going to continue to swing left unless we make some adjustments, but typically it's going to go left. And so that's one concept, hand path working too much out towards the golf ball for a player that's pulling it or maybe swinging a little bit over the top. Second one is rotation. So oftentimes a lot of players say, we've got to rotate, but if we turn to the top, leave our arms there and just rotate. And I'm not doing anything with my arms, but I'm rotating. Rotation is a steepener. It starts to get the club working more out again if we don't get the arms lowering as well. So those two concepts, if we don't get them right, it's going to be challenging from the get-go. So for those ideas, I would look at first one, when you get to the top, that idea of getting the hands working more down. So the initial move from the top of the swing is down or even backwards this way. You'll see that from the professionals typically, depending on their ball flight preference, of course, but you'll typically see that downward motion first. So that's the first aspect. Second to that is trying to lower the arms before the rotation. So if we can get that hands working, the hand path working down and not rotating yet, so you get this downward motion of the arms first, then as we start to rotate, now the club's going to come more from a neutral or even inside path. So just with those key concepts in transition, not easy, but with that understanding and those ideas, we're going to start to get the club on plane much earlier in that downswing, which is really good then to be able to just swing freely through the shot without the fear of the path moving left as you rotate. So good ideas there, guys, with concept. Now, a couple of drills to help with that aspect. You've got simply the lowering of the arms idea. So really, you may have seen some top players such as Justin Rose do a similar drill where he works to the top and he exaggerates this feeling of lowering the arms as he's keeping the back close to the target. So less rotation early, much more lowering of those arms, almost like I'm just doing the reverse bicep curl. So if I was going to lift a dumbbell here, I'm just doing the opposite as I work down. So from the top, reverse bicep curl before I rotate. So you get this idea of there and through. So that's a wonderful one just to exaggerate a bit of a feel that when again you come to hit the ball, your path will definitely shift more out to the right, so you start the ball even further right, and depending on your club face you might draw it or it might stay out there. So that's the first idea. Now a couple of visuals that you can take away as well if you're more of a visual learner. So one of my favorites here is called the 4:30 path. Imagine a clock face around you, this being 12 o'clock on the clock face, this being 3 o'clock, and you can pop an alignment rod or another golf club on this 4:30 idea on the clock face. So you can see it on the camera there. I'll put it a little bit closer. And what that's there for is a visual aid so that when you get to the top of the swing, you can get this idea as, yes, you can use a Justin Rose feels, but now you've got a visual for where my shaft is relative to that 4:30 position on the ground. Now, if you're able to get that club exaggerated and lined up in this fashion, as you add in the rotation, the club's going to come back out and get the ball a little bit more from the inside. So I'd encourage starting slow with this, lots of little slow pumps. I like to do 1, 2, and then on the third one, just do some little swings and just start to see the ball starting more to the right. You might even see it starting to to draw back a little bit as well. So you can slowly build that up. 1, 2, 3, and you're just trying to get that sensation of the club working a little bit more from in to out. When you're feeling more competent with that, you can start to ramp it up to full swings. But look how, make sure you lower those arms sooner, get that lined up to that 430 path, and really start to get that club working more from the inside. So none of these golf balls have started left of the target into that water. They're certainly not, you know, that's a good hole here I've picked for that. Definitely don't want to pull it here. So that's the second. So you've got the Justin Rose idea, the 430 path, and another one, another little visual here. I quite like some constraints, some things in the way. You can create this kind of gate. So if this was where the ball was, you can use tees. That's probably the safest thing to do. And create this gate where this is on a bit of a 45-degree angle, where the back tee is behind the golf ball relative to your target a few inches and outside the ball a few inches. This one is in front a few inches and inside a few inches. So it kind of creates this gate where I'd start without the ball first. You're trying to swing through the gate. So now you're getting that club to swing through the gate. If you're a player that pulls it, you're going to hit at least one or possibly both tees as the club works from out to in. So that's good feedback, and you can make that more difficult or easier. So I'd start with it a little bit wider at first, hit some shots and see if you can swing through the gate, and this will almost guarantee that you start the ball more to the right, and then you can gradually make that a little bit smaller, bring these in a little bit just to tighten up that challenge, make it a little bit more difficult. And then from here, same idea, get it swinging through the gate, and you can see the ball starting to start to the right. Now, as I said before, that's very important in the club path. Now, if you're doing those ideas and now your ball's starting on line and it's not curving too much, then you know you've got really good face control and that's continuing to match up to your path. However, if you do start to get that club path good and these drills are working fantastically, but you're still having some issues then with club face control, if it's going left from there, then you know it's a club face aiming left. If it's going right, you know it's a club face aiming right at impact. So some more drills for that. If you check out the link below, there's some more drills there that should really help with you with that. You've also got the Hack Motion wrist sensor, which is a wonderful tool to understand, you know, wrist mechanics and how that affects the club face at the top of the swing and through impact. So that would really help with your club face control as well. But I hope that helps there, guys. A couple of key factors. One, check your alignment, bit of a routine there that you can take out on the golf course. And then secondly, check your club path. Typically for players that are pulling it, the club path's working more out to in. So to help with that, you've got the Justin Rose feels, lowering the arms, understanding those key concepts of hand path, not too far out, more down or back. And then you've got the rotation, so less rotation, more lowering of those arms. That's really going to help. And then you've got the 430 path idea with a stick on the ground, and then the gate drill, just for some other visuals, some other ways that might help some different players learn. So from there, that should really help stop pulling the golf shots and help you enjoy your golf and shoot some low scores. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. If you've got any questions, please let me know. And please post any comments below. Love to keep the conversation going, and we'll see you next time.